Hello guys, in the last video we have discussed about a storage manager in the structure of Dbms, and today we are going to discuss about disk storage and the query processor. Coming to the disk storage, data files are actually stores the database itself. Here is the data files. So here is the actual database that is residing. And coming to the next one, which is data dictionary. We have already seen about metadata, that is data about other data that is stored. So these metadata info are stored by the data dictionary. And coming to the third one, that is data structure, which is indices. We know obviously data are stored in the databases, and we need to ensure that data are accessed fast, storage and retrieval are efficient and effective. And we are also sure that databases are handling large volume of data. In such cases, referring to the exact data item that we want. Say our data may be in the first location or it may be in the last location. But it should not the case that databases take a lot of time to process our request. It should be as fast as it can. So in such cases, indices helps us to retrieve the data faster. Coming to the next one, that is statistical data. This part is mainly storing the statics about the data. So this will also help us to take some decisions for managing the databases. So this is all about disk storage, that is data files, indices, data dictionary and statistical data. Now let's focus on query processor. What is this query processor? These are all the queries that interact with the database. These are all the queries that interacts with the databases. Right. Our data are actually stored here, and here we have the database software and database softwares, and this software what I'm telling is these are all the queries that interact with the database. Our data are actually stored here, and here we have a database software, and this database software will respond to the database queries, and when queries are supplied, you see the database administrator can supply some queries. Also sophisticated users or analysts can use some queries tools in order to supply queries to the database. So these two users normally supply queries directly to the database. But what about the application programmers? As I said, these two administrator, like these two database administrator and sophisticated users analysts can use some queries tools in order to supply the queries to the database. So I said these two users normally supply queries directly to the database. But what about the application programmers? These application programmers are not the database administrators, so they cannot directly supply the queries to the database. Instead, they will use the application programs in order to supply queries to the database. Right. So these application programs, what they write, they will actually supply queries to the database. And coming to the naive users, obviously they will also not supply the queries to the database directly. So they will use application interfaces that are generated by the application programs, right, to interact with the database. So these application interfaces will generate the application program object code that is sent to the query evaluation engine, right. We will see about this query evaluation engine now. And what about this guy, application programmers? These application programmers write the application programs that needs to be compiled and linked. So this compiler generates the object code. This compiler generates the object code, and this object code then interact with the query evaluation engine. And what about these two guys, sophisticated users and database administrators? The sophisticated users uses the query tools in order to generate a DML queries, right, that is supplied to the DML compiler and organizer. You know, DML queries are used for selecting, updating or inserting or even deleting the data from the database. are the data related, but administrator can also use DML queries, that is why there is a link here, and also he uses DDL commands. DDL is directly dealing with the schema of the table. So here is the one who has the complete privilege over the database. Who is the one? Database administrator. So this database administrator can create a table, create databases, modify the existing databases, can add columns, can delete the columns from the table, anything. That is the DDL also. He will use a DML as well in the data manipulation. In the data manipulation, here will use a DML along this data definition language. What I am telling, along this data definition language query, when DML queries are supplied to DML compiler, when DML queries are supplied to DML compiler and organizer, takes the DML queries and generates some plans, and these plans are executed by the query evaluation engine. No worries, I will explain that now. This DDL interpreter, we have few things in query process. Those are DDL interpreter, DML queries, query evaluation engine. So this DDL interpreter interprets all the DDL statements provided by the administrator and records the definition, where it is going to record the definition in the data dictionary, right? In the data dictionary. What I am telling, this DDL interpreter interprets all the data statements provided by the data administrator and records the definition, where it is going to record the definition in the data dictionary. And please note, data administrator has a complete privilege over the databases, right? And coming to the DML compiler, this DML compiler translates the DML statements or in the query language into an evaluation plan. This DML queries, this DML compiler translate the DML statements in the query language into an evaluation plan. So here the output of this will be an evaluation plan, to be precise the query evaluation plan. And these query evaluation plan consist of low level instructions that the query evaluation engine can understand. So this query evaluation engine understands only query evaluation plans, right? Only this query evaluation engine understand only query evaluation plans, and this query evaluation plan are actually given by this DML compiler. And this query evaluation plan is also generated by the application program code object code. Anyway, this query evaluation plan, whether it is coming from naive users or from the application programs or from the sophisticated users or from the database administrator users will be queries. And a lot of alternative evaluation plans, which we call as the query evaluation plans, are actually generated, and the best plan, the best evaluation plan is chosen. So this DML compiler will also do query optimization. This DML compiler will also do query optimization, which means picking the lowest cost evaluation plan from the alternatives. And these query evaluation plans are executed by query evaluation engine. So this query evaluation plans comes from this side or this side. So anyway, the query evaluation engine will execute the lowest level instructions, which is actually the query evaluation plan. So various plans are generated, and this query evaluation engine will pick the best plan to execute the query. On what basis it will pick the best plan to execute the query? Like there may be a multiple query evaluation plans, all will be giving the same result, but the best plan to be chosen. So the DML compiler helps the query evaluation engine in choosing the best evaluation plan which has the lowest cost. I hope you understand the overall architecture of this database. In this we have explained about a disk storage manager, query processor. We know that all these users are at the topmost level. And this is about the structure of Dbms. Hope you understand this lecture. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.